In news from Afghanistan, the women in the country came out and narrated their plight under the Taliban rule when the rest of the world marked International Women's Day. The Taliban, who have been asking for global recognition and have managed to receive more than one form of assistance from global bodies and countries like India, are accused of doing nothing to protect the rights of women in the country. In fact, they face the charge of suppressing women's freedoms and rights, the principal pretext under which many countries have denied providing it with the required aid, relief or financial assistance.
Hope and motivation have fizzled out for women in Afghanistan since the Taliban took control of the country in August last year. The restrictions imposed in line with the hardline interpretation of the Islamic law have stifled their voices that had begun to grow in a progressive environment under the West-backed government. The situation has turned upside down. As per the local media houses that have also been at the receiving end of the Taliban crackdown, the Afghan women were barred from even gathering to mark International Women's Day, let alone organizing any event. There have been a few voices of resistance, but that doesn't appear to be enough to counter an ultra-orthodox culture being imposed by the Taliban. Hasina Motsam, a student, called on women around the country to raise their voices to defend their rights.
و اول تسلیت بر شما میگویم که بعضی خانم‌ها درست است که وظیفه خود از دست دادن، اما باید صدای خود بکشن، هیچگاه خاموش نشینن و ما هم در مقابل ظلم‌های اینا ایستاد میشیم و پیام به کسایی که حقوق ما را پایمال میکنن این است: ما خاموش نشستیم و بعد از این هم خاموش نمیشیم، صدای خود میکشیم و از حقوق خود دفاع میکنیم.
The expansion of women's rights, particularly in urban areas, was held up as one of the main achievements of Western military and financial intervention in Afghanistan after the US-led war that toppled the last Taliban government in 2001. Until then, in addition to the education ban, almost all jobs were off limits to women and they could only leave home when accompanied by a male relative and wearing an all-enveloping burqa. Female enrollment was around 24% of the total signed up at public universities in 2020, according to figures from the World Bank-funded Higher Education Development Program, roughly 21,000 women. However, things set off towards south as soon as Taliban grabbed the hold of the power. Women say they are not allowed to gather for even symbolic customs they would mark during previous regime.
خب باید بگوییم که در سابق که بود یعنی نسبتاً بسیار پررنگتر بود. روز جهانی زن، از روز جهانی زن بسیار به شکل درستش مردم تجلیل میکردن، اما فعلا که یعنی نظام که تغییر کرده و این تحولات آمدن، بعضی زنها یعنی خانه نشین شدن، از کارهای خود سبکدوش شدن، اینا ترس دارن و فعلا مقدر به نظر من تجلیل نمیکنن این روزا.
The Taliban demand that they should now be treated at par with other sovereign countries of the world. It wants to join global bodies and form its own alliances. The concerns over women's rights, however, continue to expand as the group has failed to do anything vis-à-vis the protection or empowerment of women. In fact, there have been cases where women have fallen victim to the reprisal attack carried out by the Taliban. And with the crackdown only getting severe by the day, the future of the gender appears bleak, with observers insisting time and again the situation only worsen if the Taliban get what they have been demanding from the international community.